What do you make of these two bids by Bain and Cyrus?
Yeah, good morning, Pete. Look, I think they're the best in the market at the moment. You know, they both have the capital to support the new Virgin model, whatever that looks like. They're both very similar bids. Slight difference in size of the potential fleet. However, I think the model that will result from either of them will be very similar. And I think, as you mentioned, that mid-market sector, not the full-service competitor for Qantas, and definitely not the low-cost carrier model, but something in the middle there.
Do you think it's a good buy?
Look, I think so, Pete. The Australian market has always had room for two carriers. In fact, I think the optimum is 2.5. And I think the Virgin base model is good. I think they've got a great opportunity with their new CEO, Paul Scurrah. They've got the opportunity to modify their business model and come out with a leaner and meaner model at the end.
And I mean, looking further down the track, let's just say 6 months down the track, how could it look then, given that, it's trying to launch in the midst of this coronavirus crisis? So, would you have worries over that?
Yeah, look, I think the biggest concern I have at the moment with the Virgin model is speed to market. As the domestic travel restrictions start to be lifted, Qantas is taking advantage of that very quickly. Their launch last week, I should say, of the Jetstar $19 fare. I think they sold over 10,000 tickets in 4 hours. Qantas is going to take advantage of this opportunity, and Virgin need to be there as well to start that competitive tension with Qantas again.
From a logistics perspective, what is actually involved in restarting an airline?
Yeah, look, it's a lot bigger and more complex than people think. As the aeroplanes are parked, we got used to seeing them parked lined up on the runway at Sydney there and most of the capital cities. Those aeroplanes have to be preserved. The engineers have to maintain them. To bring them back into service takes a fair bit of time. They need to deep-preserve them, engine runs, etc., to make sure all the systems are still working as they should. You've got issues with pilot currencies. You have to cycle your pilots through the simulators again to make sure that they're back up to speed. So it's a bit of a logistical nightmare, but and very difficult to be doing under these trying circumstances for Virgin as well.
It might be a tricky question to answer this one, but how long? I mean, how long do you think it could be before, let's say, international travel returns to normal?
I think we're going to be looking at least 18 months, if not 2 years, before we get anywhere near the volumes that were there previously. It's and that's not due to the airlines. That's going to be trying to get the revenue flowing again. That just getting customers confident that they can travel internationally, and that's going to take a fair bit of time.
Wow. And during this time, does this provide various airlines around the world with these opportunities to reshape their businesses and restructure? And do you think that they will go ahead and do that?
Look, absolutely, Pete. This is the opportunity. And it's not just things like industrial agreements. It's contracts with leasing companies. It's agreements with aircraft manufacturers. We're seeing a lot of discussion at the moment between both Airbus and Boeing with airlines on orders that airlines are either deferring or trying to cancel. I think most airline execs would be going through their contracts looking for those force majeure clauses very, very closely and looking and taking that opportunity. As Virgin, both Bain and Cyrus have said that they will do, and that's simplify their fleet.
Yeah.
One of the easiest ways to take cost out of an airline.
It's not going to look like, Virgin Australia of old, is it? Whatever, new airline takes shape here, it's just not going to be what it was, right?
No, that's exactly right. The Qantas strategy to sort of put a bit of a pincer movement on Virgin quite a few years ago with the full-service premium carrier of Qantas up the top and the Jetstar low-cost carrier below it, and they sort of pushed Virgin into the middle, and they were unsure as where they needed to sit. Now, they decided to go to the upper level and try to compete against that full-service model with lounges and frequent flyer programs. And that's an enormously expensive way to do it. And that's what they're going to be paring back.